first video on Excel. However, before starting, I would like to insist on something, on two aspects. The first one is activating the file extensions, which in Windows, unfortunately, are by default switched off. Okay, to do it, if you have Windows 8, right-click Control Panel. If you have Windows 10, Windows X, you should have Control Panel. If you don't have it, you have here a place in which you can write something, write Control Panel, or the equivalent in your language. Then Appearance and Personalization, Folder Options, View, and please unflag Hide Extensions for non-file types. This is to activate extensions, something we have already done in the pre-course. Now I click Cancel. But there is something else also something done in the pre-course, but I'm sure you miss it. Clock, language, and region, additional settings. Here you can change the settings of your Windows operating system, in particular the decimal symbol and the digit grouping symbol. You can see my computer is set to Continental Europe system, so decimal symbol, comma, digit grouping symbol, dot. Okay. If you want, you can switch them and go on to the American system. However, what is very important is here the list separator. It must be set to semicolon, because if it is set to something else, this is used by Excel as list separator for functions. If it is set to something else, the function won't work properly, and then you will be desperate at exam calling me, and I will give you -1 for not knowing where the list separator is. So please, even though you have now the list separator set as semicolon, know where to change it, because the day before the exam, unpredictably, your computer will reset it to some strange thing such as comma. Okay, so now take a decision. It doesn't matter if you choose the Continental Europe or the American version for decimal digits and digit grouping symbol, because whenever we need it, I will tell you explicitly, such as in this lesson. Okay, you press OK, I press Cancel. You will see that, at least for Windows, there is the possibility to change this thing in Excel. Unfortunately, not for Mac. That's it. Now, let's start the lesson. Okay, we will use Excel 2016, at least in this video. It's a spreadsheet program. It comes out with all the other parts of the Microsoft Office package, Word, PowerPoint, etc., etc. It's an extremely versatile program used for organizing data. It has inside a big computing power, meaning that it can make very fast calculations and on large amounts of data, on relatively large amounts of data, but especially it's, according to my opinion, one of the best and easiest tools around for displaying charts and graphs. So even though I use other programs, whenever I have to display a chart or graph, usually I go back to Excel, because it's very easy to use and has a lot of options, and the graphs are good looking. It can also handle small databases. Well, if you have any doubt whether a competence in Excel will be useful for your future working life, well, just take a look at the work announcement, the work requests. In each work request, at least for work which require you to sit in front of a computer or to stay in any office, Excel is a required competence. And when you don't see it's written, it's because the employer is taking for granted that the people who apply know it. So it's so versatile. It can replace a lot of other programs that it's used every time, everywhere. We use Excel 2016. Probably you have noticed that other videos don't use Excel 2016, sometimes 2013, sometimes 2010. Well, this is because, honestly, between Excel 2007 and Excel 2016, even Excel 2016 for Mac, there is almost no difference. There are some slight differences which will be emphasized in the videos, but almost none. In this video in particular, there will be one difference, and this is the reason why I redid the video using Excel 2016. On the other hand, Excel 2003, it's completely another issue. If you are old and you are proficient with it, well, probably you will find yourself rather lost here. Let's start opening the file that we have here. Oops. example.xlsx. Okay, this is the file that we use as an example. It's a workbook, so it's an Excel file. It uses worksheets, this thing here. So imagine them as pieces of paper, all collected together in this book, in this handbook. Each piece of paper contains a matrix of data. Matrix organized in columns, which have a letter as a name. After the Z you have AA. The last column is XFD. And in numbers and rows, which use a number instead. We're about 1 million of rows here we have. Okay. This thing here is the name box. It displays the name of the cell. Here this cell, for example, is before. It may seem trivial to you, but you can, if you want, assign alternative names to them. And this is the reason why there is a name box. This is the formula bar. It displays the real content of the cell. Switch for a moment to sheet first. Okay, if you click here, you will see English, and here English as well. Okay, however, if you go here, you will see here 8.8880 and here equals C6 plus D6, because the real content of this cell is not 8.8 whatever, but it's a formula. And here you display only the statistical appearance. So there is a difference between what you see here and what you see here. Here you always see the real content. Other little information about this graphical interface. This thing here are called ribbons. Okay, ribbons. They replace the old menus that used to be here. People using the Excel for Mac still have the old menus. They are lucky because they still have the old menus, which contain more or less the same thing that you have now in the ribbons, but usually easier to find. Okay. The first ribbon is special because, as you can see, everything changes when you click on File. Okay. People having the Mac, they don't have the file, but you have the file here above in the menus. Other features here, if you select some, let's select some text and some numbers, you will see here how many cells with something inside have you selected, how many cells contain some numbers, the sum of the numbers, and the average. If you want, right click, you can also the minimum and the maximum. Handy information that sometimes can speed your work up. Okay. Now, this, as I told you before, are the sheets. With the sheet, you can do some operations. First of all, you can move them around like this. Just drag and drop. You can move also with move or copy, but nobody uses it to move sheets. Okay, you can rename it. Okay, but I won't rename it. You can duplicate it with move or copy. Remember to click create a copy. Oh, here it is. You can delete it. If the sheet is empty, Excel doesn't complain. If the sheet is not empty, Excel starts complaining and asks you whether you really mean it. Okay. You can, please never hide them. You can change the color of the tab. Now it's green. Let's restore it to no color. And you can insert a new sheet, obviously. Okay, now I will delete it. Okay, so very basic operations. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, before starting, we have to talk again about the decimal symbol. Okay? Because the Excel for Windows gives you the possibility to change the decimal symbol only for Excel. So in case you are temporarily working on American data, or you want to work on Excel using the American system, but the rest of your computer you want to keep the European system, you can do it. Unfortunately, it's not something you can do on the Mac. If on the Mac you want to change the decimal separator, you have to change the decimal separator for the entire Mac on System Preferences, Language and Region, Advanced. Okay, let's see how to change the decimal separator only for Excel on Windows. File, Options, Advanced, and here, if you flag Use System Separator, it means that your Excel is using the same separator that Windows is using, currently the European system for my case. If you unflag it and you set other separator, typically if you're using the European, here you set American one or vice versa. Doesn't make, I don't think any other separator makes sense. Furthermore, it means that Excel, only Excel, is using this two separator here instead, while Windows will continue to use what you have set in the control panel. Now I will revert back to my original Windows separator. Okay, when you input data inside Excel, Excel tries to guess which kind of data have you typed in. Basically, the data can be a value, which can be a lot of different value subtypes, a formula, in case it starts with equal, and text. It's very important that you understand whether you have really typed inside text or a value, and Excel helps you aligning the values to the right and the text to the left. Let's make some examples. Here I type text. Can you see it's aligned to the left? Here I type a number, it's aligned to the right. I type a number with a comma. Remember that for me the comma is the decimal separator, and it's aligned to the right. Same number but with a dot. Since for me the dot is not the decimal separator, this number doesn't make sense. In fact, it's not a number, it's aligned to the left. Okay, so Excel tries to guess. Most of the time it guesses correctly. Sometimes, however, it doesn't. If you want to see all the types that are here, or even better, I prefer clicking here. Okay, you see all the types. General means Excel guess it yourself. We'll go through them later. People having a Mac instead must do, let me see, format menu cells to get to this menu. You don't have this little bottom. I honestly don't understand why the Mac version should be slightly different, just to make me crazy. Let's see. If you type any number, as you can see, even minus comma 5, Excel pretty understand it. Even as this strange thing, which in some bizarre accounting system, it's a negative number. Okay. If you type the euro symbol, because for me the euro is the default currency, Excel recognizes that it's a currency. Okay. If I type the dollar symbol, since for me it's a euro, the currency, Excel doesn't recognize it. Percentages, well, pretty easy. You just type the percentage symbol, and Excel recognizes that it's a percentage. You can type even with a space. I don't know whether you can type it before. Let's see. Yes, also before. Dates. Excel tries to do its best to guess dates correctly. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. 3 June 2019. It's the 3rd of July 2019, and there is no doubt on it. However, 3/7 2019, well, this depends on your settings. It may be the 3rd of July, but if you have the American setting, it may be the 7th of March. Okay, in my case, it's the 3rd of July. If you go here, even though here it is written July, you can see the formula bar 03/07/2019. Once you know whether you have day month or month day, then I suggest you always use the full year. So don't write 19, because maybe some old Excel will recognize it as 1919 instead of 2019. And always use the slashes. Okay. You can use also something like this. Excel recognizes it, but it's pretty dangerous. And let's see what about the dot. No, the dot is not. In my case, the dot is not recognized. On some other Excel, it is. Okay, also July 19. What is July 19? It's the 1st of July 2019. But what is 19th of July? 19th of July is the 19th of July 2018, because I'm building this video in 2018, even if probably you are watching it in 2027. Okay. However, with dates there are some problems, as we will see later. Let me first finish all the topics. Time. Well, time, I prefer to use the colon and it works fine. This is 3:45. If I write 3:45 p.m., this is 15:45. Okay. If you write 25:45, still work. Ah, yes, it's the 1:45 of Forget about this. Okay, don't exceed the 24 hours. Okay, however, honestly, time is not used at all. In economics, a day is important for example, calculation of interest rates, but time is not so important in all the financial calculation. Everything which starts with equal is a formula. Equal B1, for example, divided by 2. Okay, and everything else is simply text. Okay. Sometimes, however, you may run into troubles. Suppose, for example, you are trying to build a little table which say children's age. Children age. Okay. Here you insert the children between 0 and 3. Okay. The toddlers. And here the children between 4 and 6. Okay. But as soon as you type 4-6, look what happens. Tac. 4th of June. For Excel, it's a date. And there is no way for you to force it to understand that 4-6 is not a date. Well, but there is a way. There are two ways. One is a dirty trick, which is apostrophe. And people who are using a German keyboard pay attention that it's the apostrophe and not the accent. 4-6. Excel will not display the apostrophe. It will still be here, as you can see. And it will be recognized as 4-6. And then you can put apostrophe 7-10. Okay. The other alternative is telling him before that you are typing text. In fact, whenever you type text or numbers a lot, especially when you type a lot of data, it's a good idea to select the entire column and from here choose what you're going to type. Okay. Or even better for here, people using a Mac format cells. You can choose number, choosing the decimal separator, the thousand separator. You can be so crazy to have negative number red but without a minus sign. You can choose currency and choose your currency symbol. Accounting, date, and your favorite date system. If you change location, it will display dates in a different way. Time, percentage, well, fraction scientific, not so interesting. Text, or even decide your custom, strange, bizarre things. Okay, however, let's be honest, number, date, text, and percentage are the most frequent. So if you choose text before, let's see, I choose text before. Now I tell him that it's text, I type 4-6, recognize as text, fine. And even if I type equal D4 to recognize as text. Can you see? Even though this is in theory is a formula, for Excel it's a text because I told him before that it's text. So, use the apostrophe to convince Excel. Use the cell format dialog box before typing values. Pay attention to what Excel understands, especially dates. And finally, the last suggestion, pay attention when converting between numbers and percentages. Let's see the example. I select everything first of all, right click, delete. Okay, so I have a clear, okay. Suppose you are doing a survey on your local banks and ask them, how much do they charge you, interest rate, how much do they charge you for a loan? Okay, for example, a bank may charge you 1,5%, another bank may charge you 2,3%, another bank very cheap 0,6, another one 1,45, 1,3, 1,8. Okay. Now you realize, but these are interest rates, so they are percentages. So you select, and from here, or from here, or from here, as you prefer, it's the same. You select percentages, and what happens? You see, the 2.3 has become 230%, a huge interest rate. And this is because for Excel, 2 is 200%. This is the mathematical rule. To get 2%, you must type 0.02. And the message is, please, before, choose percentage before. Now we told him that these are percentages, and now I can type 2,3. Can you see? And the percentage symbol arrives automatically. Oops, I display only 2. You can increase the decimal digit. 0.6 Okay, doesn't matter if there is some text. When it's evidently text, Excel doesn't put a percentage symbol. So the message is pay special attention and use the cell format dialog box before typing values, in particular a long list of values, which can be misunderstood. Or let's see two little tasks which can make your life easier, two little features which can make your life easier. The autofill with repeat and with increment. I clear up. Type 3, and now click and drag down through this green square. You see, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Now type 3, 7, select both, and drag down. 3, 7, 11, 15, 19, goes on 4 by 4. So here Excel has copied the same value. Here Excel has increased the value of a distance appropriate to the original distance between the numbers. It works also backwards. 34, 19, 4, minus 11, minus 26, etc., etc. It works also for dates. 20 of July 2019, 20 of September 2019, 20 of November, 20 of January 2020, 20 of March 2020, and so on. It works also from some bizarre text if you have a number at end. There are 0, 1, no, let's just drag this one, and Excel, I think, will increase the number. Can you see? I'm curious to see what happens when it arrives to 99. Let's see. It goes on. It increases to 100. Okay. However, sometimes you don't want to increase. For example, if you just type text, can you see it doesn't increase anything? Sometimes you have numbers, but you don't want to increase. For example, 34, 54. Now you want to repeat 34, 54 forever, for a long series here, without having it increase. So if I drag, can you see it increases? It's not what I want. So whenever you try to drag and Excel is not doing exactly what you want, just try to press Ctrl, Mac user press Alt, and it changes behavior. You see? Same thing if you type 3 and you want to increase. So now if I drag, I get 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. If I want to increase, obviously by 1, because Excel doesn't know by how much, I can just press Ctrl while I'm dragging and they get increased. So when you're not satisfied with Excel behavior, just press Ctrl or Alt if you're using a Mac, and Excel will try the other way. Now, clear up. Importing data. Let's see this. Before talking about importing data, let's talk about copy and paste. Okay, I go to first. It's easy to copy and paste in Excel. Just take some numbers, for example here, right click, copy, or Ctrl C on the Mac, Command C, or copy from here. Then go somewhere else, paste from here, or if you prefer, right click and choose the first of the many paste options, or if you prefer, Ctrl V on the Mac, Command V. Now let me do Ctrl V. Okay, easy. Now undo. Beware, however, that you can do it until this one is blinking. If for any reason it were not blinking anymore, now can you see I don't have the paste active. However, when you try to do the same with numbers originated from formulas as these ones, copy. Let's see what happens. Can you see? I paste and I paste 0, 0, 0, 0. This is because they were originated by formula. When you copy and paste formula, all the formula gets screwed. We will see later in the course, or better in the next lesson, how exactly do they get screwed and why, and how it can be useful. However, the issue now is that the numbers are not what you expect. Suppose you want only the numbers. How can you get them? So copy. instead of choosing standard paste, choose paste values. This one, or if you prefer, this one. Okay. The paste values pastes the values as they are, without any formula, and especially also without any formatting. Very useful when you have a table which is full of colors and odd formatting and you want to get rid of everything. Okay. Other interesting feature of the paste copy, for example, is the transpose. This is the paste transpose. Can you see? It converts the thing written in a column into thing written in a row. Very, very useful. But it's used only rarely. So you probably will use it twice in your life, but if you remember it will save 3 hours of searching. Desperate. There are other things. This pastes only the formulas. Well, in case you don't have formulas, it pastes the values. This paste, there is another one which pastes only the formatting, this one, and something like that. And let's go finally to this terrible importing data. Still on the web, most of the data are organized in text format. Well, many are organized in Excel sheets, but if a program is not Excel, it prefers usually to keep the data organized in text format. So we will find very often data in text format that you will like to import into Excel. Okay. Unfortunately, in Excel 2016, there are 2 different ways to import them. Pay attention because I'm talking about the very same program, Excel 2016 for Windows 10 or for Mac. Despite being the very same program, according to whether you have installed the latest update or not, and according to what the latest update has done, you may have this interface for importing data, or this other interface for importing data. I tell you immediately that this is the old one which works, and this is the new one which has serious problems. Okay. So before talking about them, I will now teach you how to, in case you have the new one, pay attention because they are very similar. The new one is get and transform data, and it has this lightning bolt on get data. The old one is get external data. In my Excel, I put both. It's in the data ribbon. I put dot. This is the new old one, get external data. And this is the new one. So both have a cylinder, but the new one you discover, you detect, you can identify it because it has the lightning bolt. Should be faster, but it's blur. Okay, it is the old one. It is the new one. The new one is not able to do some operations. If you have only the new one, you can still get the old one, maybe, from Legacy Wizards. But I'm not sure that you have it. In case, I will now teach you how to restore the old one if you want. If you want to keep the new one, fine. Don't complain with me if you cannot do some things. Right click, customize the ribbon. Here on the left, choose all tabs. On the right, main tabs. Okay. Open data. And here you have this is the new one, this is the old one. Just take and drag. Currently, you can see I have the old and the new one. Suppose I want to get rid of the new one. Now I want to get it back because I have to show it to you how bad it is. Okay, so once it's done, old new one old one, new one. You can keep only the old one. I have to keep the new one because I have to show every year the same thing. Every year, starting from this year. Okay, let's see now how to import files. Text files came basically in 2 different ways. One is the delimited and another one is this fixed. The delimited uses a special symbol to delimit the column. Okay. Let's start with this one. I call it diesis delimited. Okay. It uses this symbol. It's the sharps. It's called sharp in English. It's used in music notation and also in computer science. Also in Twitter, to separate the columns. Okay. It's not so human readable. Let's see whether we can import it. Where is it? Excel, okay. I use the old one from text. File example, Excel, import. It's delimited. Well, my data do have headers, but it's totally useless. It's not a tab, it's other, and I have to press the sharp symbol. Good luck if you have a bizarre keyboard without a sharp symbol. My keyboard does have it. Also, I remember the German keyboard does have it. Okay, if you use any other symbol, obviously you don't get the right separator. Next. Now another issue, very important. Check the numbers that you see. These numbers use the dot as the thousand separator and the comma as the decimal separator. If this is the configuration for your Excel, fine, you don't have to do anything else. If this is not the configuration for your Excel, you have to go here to advanced, and temporarily, only for this import here, switch it. Okay. Now, this is my configuration, the configuration for my Excel, so I don't need anything. Finish. Into a new worksheet. And that's it. Now, you cannot import another file into the same worksheet. You have to go back to empty. Let's try to do the very same thing, but using the new method here. Let's see. Okay, diesis. 3 hours connecting God knows where. Come on. Okay, delimiter is not a comma. Custom is this one. Now I'm tempted to press here, but I know that a disaster will happen. 3 hours of evaluation. It's again, comma, no, custom. Okay, now I will not press there. I will just click randomly somewhere. Okay, fine. Load. 3 hours again. You know, when new software is slower than old software. Okay, and after all this effort, you get this wonderful color table, which you have to also restore back to black and white, and also remove this thing here with data filter. Oh. Okay, go back to empty, because it's the same one, even to align differently. Okay, go back to empty. Let's import the other ones. Let's import, for example, the space delimited. This uses as delimiter a space, as the name suggests. My data have headers, not tab, space. Next. There are no commas, no dots, so fine. Finish. New worksheet. Fine. Let's try to import it using the new method. And you will admire that the new method doesn't give you any possibility to import it. No way to import it. I tried and retried. So unless you do edit and you touch it manually, but cancel. On the other hand, if you have used the legacy wizard, here you get, as you can see, back to the very same wizard that we've seen before. In fact, now we'll use the legacy wizard, to import the last one, the tab-delimited. The tab-delimited uses a tab. A tab is a special character which uses more than one space. Can you see? This is a tab, for example. So a tab is a thing which comes back from the old typewriting machines. People I don't know whether you have ever seen a mechanical typewriting machines. However, whenever you have to start a new paragraph, you have to insert 7 spaces, and on a mechanical typewriting machine, 7 spaces mean bump, bump, bump for 7 times, all the machine trembling. So in order to avoid all this effort, they invented the tab key, which jumps 7 spaces ahead on the paper, and so you have a single bump instead of 7 bump, 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 bump. So the tab symbol has been inherited by computer keyboards, and now it's this symbol here. Can you see? It uses several spaces. It can be 7, but it can be also less. For example, here it's only 2. Nobody knows exactly how much it is. It's 3. Sometimes it's 1. Sometimes 0. Okay. However, the computer can see it. We cannot see it actually, but the computer can. Here there are two tab symbols here, 1 and 2. Okay. Yes, tab-delimited, import, delimited, my data has headers. Particular Excel likes it very much. Let's see, there is a comma. My computer uses the comma as decimal separator, so fine. New worksheet. Fine. And we imported it with a legacy wizard, which is identical to this one. Last thing to import are fixed data. Fixed data are very different. You can see the table is now completely human readable. Here, there is not a tab. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces. So it's very human readable. However, for a computer, it's terrible because the computer cannot understand why do you put 6 spaces where a single character will be enough. Okay. But also for human, in some cases, it may be difficult. For example, here, you have to use your knowledge to understand that the separator is here. And also some other part here, maybe, and also here, you have to use your knowledge. Where is the separator? The separator is here. Here, can you see? This seems to be a single number. Okay, let's try to import it. This is the most difficult one. You can import it from here as well as from here. Don't try to import it instead from here because you won't manage to do it. Fixed. Fixed width. My data has headers, but it's not relevant. Oh, can you see now that Excel is not guessing correctly where to put the separator? This one, for example, I double click to remove it. This one, I double click to remove it. Have to insert another one here. I move this one a little bit here. Have to insert another one here, seems. This one is here, I think. And no, this one is not here, but here. But however, after having inserted them, please remember to go down, because usually down you may have some surprises. And here the surprise, can you see? The separator cuts the number, so it's here. Let's go up again. I wish it were a little larger, this interface, which is very important. Instead of building this horrible thing, they could build just a larger interface. Okay, next. Here, let's see. Oh, this is the dot. You don't need to do it column by column, but at least once you must do it. So I click on advanced, I switch them. So temporarily, only for this import, now I'm switching to American system. Temporarily and only for this input. As soon as the input is over, my Excel will switch back, so you will not even see the dots. You will see immediately the commas. So can you see, even though here there are dots, Excel will switch back and go to commas as soon as the input is finished. Finish. New worksheet. Can you see the commas here? Remember, however, always take a look at the file whether it uses dots and comma, and remember whether you have to adjust or not. If you don't have that menu, but it exists, the advanced menu, but it exists in Excel for Mac as well as in Excel for Windows. If you don't have it or if you don't want to use, you have to change the decimal separator for Excel from here, or even for the entire Mac system. Okay, I think we have said everything, and we can stop the video if I manage to do it.